All right, guys, so let us begin. Guys, welcome to another webinar here at IQ Option. My name is Stavros, and I will be presenting today's webinar. Now, today's webinar is going to be based on deposits, withdrawals, and of course, how to withdraw your profits. All right, now, if you do have any questions, be sure to leave your questions in the comments below and make sure to stay at the end of the webinar because we're going to be discussing a lot of different things which are going to be very, very useful for you when it comes to how you deposit and withdraw. So let us begin. So on our agenda today, guys, we have the following topics. We're going to be discussing all the methods that we have when it comes to depositing and withdrawing here on the platform. We're going to be looking at deposits, withdrawals, any withdrawal of profits, limits to different methods that you're going to be using, fees that we're going to have, and of course, at the end of the webinar, again, we're going to have our Q&A. Make sure that you leave your questions below, and I will answer them at the end. Now, supported device when it comes to using our platform are as follows. So, of course, you can use the platform from your PC, from your laptop. You can use your smartphone, of course. You can use your tablet. Now, when it comes to the operating systems that you're able to use the app from, Mac, of course, Windows, and if you're using a phone, iOS, and Android, of course. Now, guys, let us move to the deposit methods that you can use with the application. So first of all, of course, you can be using your bank card. It doesn't matter if it's a credit or debit card, as long as it's one of these companies, Visa, MasterCard, or Maestro. Now, moving on to e-wallets. Now, e-wallet stands for electronic wallets. They are very, very popular in the trading industry because basically e-wallets act as the middleman. You link your bank card, your bank account with the e-wallet companies, and you can very easily make a deposit through them on our platform. Now, the e-wallet companies that we currently support are as follows. Skrill, of course, Neteller, WebMoney, ADV Cash, Perfect Money, Yalex Money, Kiwi, and WeChat. Now, we also do support local bank transfers. So if you have a local bank, you can very easily make a deposit through your bank. Finally, we do support cryptocurrencies. We do support Bitcoin with everything that's happening right this moment with Bitcoin exploding. It is a very, very good choice for a deposit. Now, these methods are going to depend, of course, on your region. Depending on regulations, each region is going to have different deposit methods. They're not going to be the same. Now, moving on to withdrawal methods that you can use from the platform. Now, of course, again, you can use your bank card to make a withdrawal, whether it's a credit or a debit card. It doesn't really matter as long as it's a Visa, a MasterCard, or a Maestro card. Now, again, e-wallets you can withdraw to are Skrill, Neteller, WebMoney, ADV Cash, and of course, Perfect Money. Again, you're going to be able to withdraw any money to your local bank. And again, withdrawal methods are going to depend on the country that you're in. Now, moving on. So, to my South African friends, this is where you need to pay attention. This is specifically for you. Now, for South Africa, when it comes to depositing, these are the limits that you have. So when you're using a bank card, the minimum you need to be depositing is $10. That's around 180 Rand. And the maximum is going to be 1 million. Now, again, e-wallets, the exact same thing. $10 is the minimum, and 1 million is the maximum. Now, you can also do a deposit with a bank transfer, a local bank, which again, if you're going to be using this method, you need to at least deposit $10, and the maximum you're able to deposit is $29,700. Now, I want to point out here that this is per transaction. So if for whatever reason you want to be depositing more, okay, you can simply just make another deposit. Now, finally, Bitcoin. If you want to be depositing with Bitcoin, so if you have a crypto wallet and you want to be depositing with Bitcoin, you need to deposit, at least $20. And the maximum you're going to be able to deposit is $15,000. Now, I do want to point out again that these limits are not set by us. These limits are set from our payment providers. Now, moving on to withdrawals. When it comes to withdrawals, guys, if you want to be withdrawing to your bank card, the minimum you need to be withdrawing is $2. That's around 30 Rand. And the maximum you can withdraw again is 1 million. Now, the same thing applies as before. So this is per transaction. So if for whatever reason you have exceeded the amount, you can simply make another transaction. Now, again, same applies for e-wallet. If you want to be withdrawing through your e-wallet, you need to at least withdraw $2. And again, the maximum is 1 million. Now, you can also use a bank transfer to withdraw, and you need to be withdrawing at least $10. That's around 167 Rand. And the maximum you are able to withdraw back to your bank is 36,000 US dollars or 500,000 Rand. Again, for whatever reason, if you want to be withdrawing more, you can simply just make another transaction. Now, Nigeria. For depositing in Nigeria, again, it's going to be very, very similar to before. $10 is the minimum, and of course, 1 million is going to be the maximum. E-wallet, again, is the exact same, so $10. If you're going to be depositing with an e-wallet, you need to at least deposit $10. And the maximum is as before. Now, if you are in Nigeria and you want to be depositing with your local bank, the minimum you need to be depositing again is going to be $10, and the maximum is going to be 1,000. Now, Bitcoin. If you have a crypto wallet and you want to be depositing with Bitcoin, the minimum you need to be depositing is going to be $20, and the maximum you can deposit is 20,000 US dollars. Frederick, Kenya is coming up, don't worry. Now, withdrawals for Nigeria. Again, if you want to be withdrawing back to your card, $2 is the minimum you need to be withdrawing, and the maximum is 1 million. Zambia is coming as well, don't worry, okay? So, Morocco as well. Just be patient. So, e-wallets, guys. If you want to be withdrawing to your e-wallet, you need to be withdrawing at least $2, and the maximum is going to be 1 million. Again, if you're going to be using a bank card, $10 is the minimum you're able to withdraw, and 1,000 is the maximum. Somalia. Guys, for people in Somalia that want to make a deposit, again, $10 is the minimum and 1 million is the maximum. Just to address a question here, no, Ghana, you haven't missed Ghana. Ghana hasn't come up yet. So just be patient, guys. And all the countries that you stated, we're going to mention them, every single one of them. Don't worry. Now, again, back to Somalia. If you want to be using an e-wallet, okay, you need to be at least depositing $10, and the maximum is going to be 1 million. Now, if you're going to be withdrawing from Somalia again, and you're going to be using your card, you need to at least withdraw $2, and the maximum you're going to be able to withdraw is 1 million. Now, I'm going to say this again for people joining now. This is per transaction. So if for whatever reason you want to be withdrawing more, you can simply do another transaction. Again, e-wallet, the exact same as above. And moving on to Egypt. Now, if you're in Egypt and you want to be making a deposit with your card, again, it is the exact same. So $10 is going to be the minimum you need to deposit, and $1 million is the maximum. E-wallet, again, it's going to be the exact same thing. And if you want to be using Bitcoin with everything that's happening, you need to you need to deposit at least $20, and the maximum you are able to deposit is going to be $20,000. Now, if you want to be withdrawing and you're in Egypt, you can use your bank card, of course. You need to at least withdraw $2, and the maximum is going to be 1 million. Now, again, e-wallet is going to be the exact same thing. $2 and 1 million is the maximum you can withdraw. Moving on to Morocco. Now, guys, for Morocco, if you are planning on making a deposit and your country is Morocco, you need to at least deposit $10, and the maximum is 1 million. Tawaga, yes, this is going to be recorded, and at the end, we're actually going to send this to every single one of you. So don't worry if you've missed something, okay? You can review this video again whenever you want to. So going back, if you are in Morocco and you want to be using an e-wallet to make a deposit, again, the same as above. $10 is the minimum, and 1 million is going to be the maximum. Finally, Bitcoin. Again, if you want to be making a deposit with Bitcoin, $20 is the minimum, and of course, 20,000 is the maximum. Moving on to withdrawals from Morocco, bank card, again, $2 is the minimum, 1 million is the maximum. So you're going to see some of these methods and limits are very, very similar. Now, for e-wallets, again, if you're going to be using an e-wallet like Skrill, Neteller, or any other of the ones mentioned, the minimum you're going to be able to withdraw is $2. And the maximum is 1 million. Kenya, here comes Kenya. So, for my friends from Kenya, if you want to be making a deposit and you're going to be using your bank card, again, $10 is going to be the minimum, and 1 million is going to be the maximum. E-wallet, again, the exact same. And Bitcoin, again, $20 if you want to be making a deposit through Bitcoin, and $20,000 if you want to be deposit the maximum you can deposit with Bitcoin, sorry. Withdrawals. So for Kenya, if you want to be withdrawing through your bank card, the minimum you need to withdraw is going to be $2, and of course, the maximum is 1 million. Again, e-wallets, the exact same thing, $2 and 1 million. And for Kenya, that is it. Moving on to Ghana. Zambia is coming up. Just a second. So, Ghana. If you're in Ghana and you want to be making a deposit, and you're going to be using your bank card, the minimum is going to be $10 again, and the maximum is going to be 1 million. E-wallets, if you're going to be using e-wallets from Ghana, again, the exact same as above. And here's something new. If you are going to be using mobile payments to make a deposit, you need to at least deposit $10, and the maximum you're going to be able to deposit through mobile payments is $1,000. Now, I'm going to say this again. If for whatever reason you want to be depositing more, you can simply make another transaction. This is per transaction. Finally, Bitcoin. For my friends in Ghana, if you want to be making a deposit, you can use Bitcoin. The minimum is going to be $20, and the maximum you're able to deposit is 20,000. Withdrawals. For Ghana, if you're going to be using a card, a bank card again, to be making a withdrawal, you need to at least withdraw $2. And the maximum is 1 million. Again, for e-wallets, the exact same. And mobile payments, again, if you're going to be withdrawing with a mobile payment service, the minimum you need to withdraw is going to be $10, and the maximum is going to be $1,000. Now, if you want to be using a bank to make your bank transfer, you need to at least withdraw $10, and the maximum is going to be $1,000. Finally, Zambia, as promised. So, Zambia, if you're going to be making your deposit, you need to at least deposit $10, and 1 million is going to be the maximum you're able to deposit. Again, you can use e-wallets. The exact same limits apply. And that's it for your Zambia when it comes to deposits. Moving on to withdrawals. Withdrawals, if you're going to be using a bank card, you're going to be able to, you need to at least, deposit, withdraw $2, and the maximum you can withdraw is 1 million. E-wallets, again, the exact same thing. And that is it. Just to address this, we've already done Somalia. Okay. You are going to be able to look at the video again. We're going to send the webinar to every single one of you guys, and you can, of course, look at it. Or if you have a specific comment or a question, write it down below, and at the end of the webinar, I am going to answer all of them. We can also, I will also address M-Pesa later, okay? All right, so guys, what I want to do now, I want to take you on the platform, and I actually want to show you how you're going to be making your deposit. So just a second, let me switch to the platform so you guys can see. All right, guys, I hope everyone can see my screen here. So if you are going to be making, a deposit, you go on the top right here, you press on deposit, you are going to press top up account, and it is going to show you all the methods that are available for your country. Now, every country, as mentioned before, is going to have different deposit and withdrawal methods. Okay, now here you're able to see the duration of every single deposit. So for example, Visa, MasterCard, it says instant. Bitcoin here, it says 1 to 24 hours. And you're also going to see if this service is not available or is under maintenance. It's going to say it here. So if you're going to be making your deposit, let's say that you're going to be using Skrill, you simply press here on Skrill. You are going to select your amount, let's say $20, and you're going to proceed to make your payment. Now, when you press proceed, it is going to redirect you to the e-wallet company that you're going to be using, and from there you log in and you make your deposit. Now, I do want to point out something about Bitcoin. So for Bitcoin, given what's happening with Bitcoin right now, and there's a lot of interest in Bitcoin, given that it's past, the 40,000 mark. When you're going to be depositing with Bitcoin, if you do decide to deposit with Bitcoin, let me show you this example. So again, you're going to be making a payment of $20. You simply press proceed. Now, this is where you are going to enter your crypto address. Now, this is just an example I put here. This is a random crypto address, okay? But this is where you need to enter your crypto address, okay? Make sure that you enter the correct crypto address, because if for whatever reason the Bitcoin transaction is not successful and the money needs to be returned back to your account, back to your crypto wallet, the address needs to be correct. If it's not correct because you entered a wrong crypto address, then there's not going to be a lot of things that we can do. Now, after you've entered your crypto address, you press proceed. And you get to this page. Now, this is the amount that you are going to be depositing. And this here is the amount that you need to be sending. Okay? And this here is the address that you need to be sending. This is the address that you're going to send this amount here. Okay? Now, I do want to point out that you need to complete this transaction within a given time frame. All right? It is 30 minutes. If 30 minutes pass and you do not complete this, then the transaction is going to be deemed invalid. So make sure that you make your Bitcoin deposit in time. All right. Now, one other thing I want to point out is that if for whatever reason the transaction is not successful and is returned back to your crypto wallet, you're going to, because of the blockchain, you actually lose the fee. All right. So you're going to receive your amount minus the blockchain fee. All right. So be careful to do the Bitcoin deposit correctly, and you shouldn't have any issues. All right. If you do have issues, we always have 24/7 support, so you can always reach out and we can help you. Now, going back to our presentation. So I also want to mention a couple of facts when it comes to depositing and withdrawing. First of all, if you are going to be using your bank card, you can only withdraw up to the same amount that you've deposited within 90 days. Secondly, when it comes to e-wallets, yes, you can deposit and withdraw profits. You can use multiple e-wallet supported accounts. So if, for example, you deposit with Skrill and you want to be withdrawing from Neteller, yes, you're going to be able to do that. Now, e-wallet accounts are completely free to open. And you can actually use your bank. So you can actually link your bank account to your e-wallets, and you can withdraw your profits through there. Now, when it comes to local bank transfers, yes, you're going to be able to deposit and also to withdraw profits. And when it comes to cryptocurrencies, guys, currently you can only deposit with cryptocurrencies. And for the time being, you can only use Bitcoin. Now, I also want to talk a little bit about durations. Now, when it comes to using bank cards to make a deposit, it's going to be instant. Same applies for e-wallets. When it comes to local bank transfers, again, this is going to be instant. But in some cases, based on your bank, how fast your bank processes the transaction, it can take between 1 to 12 hours. Finally, if you're going to be using Bitcoin, it can take between 1 hour to 24 hours for the deposit to be successful. So if you have a crypto wallet, if you have Bitcoin, given the popularity of Bitcoin these days, and you're not in a rush to make a deposit, then Bitcoin might be a good choice for you. But if you're in a rush to make your deposit and start trading, then consider another method. Now, moving on to durations for withdrawals. Now, when it comes to withdrawing back to your bank, again, this is instant from our side, but it can also take up to 21 calendar days, depending on the bank. So depending on the processing time from your bank, This is going to be varied, but the maximum is going to be 21 business days, 21 calendar days to reach your account. Now, I do see that it's usually done a lot faster, but this is the general time frame that we give. E-wallets. If you are going to be withdrawing through an e-wallet, it is going to be instant, given that your account is verified. Both your e-wallet account and your IQ Option account is verified, and you do not exceed the deposit amount. Now, for anything else, if you're using an e-wallet, it is going to take 1 to 3 business days from our side and an additional 24 hours from the e-wallet's side. Now, again, this is done usually much faster, but again, this is the general time frame. Guys, I will try and answer some of your questions at the end of the webinar. In the meantime, of course, keep asking any questions that you have, and I'm going to address as many as I can at the end. All right, so back to durations for withdrawals. When you are going to be withdrawing to your local bank, this is going to take between 1 to 3 business days and an additional 5 to 7 business days, depending on your bank. Now, again, this is a general time frame. It's usually done a lot faster. All right. Now, I also want to run a couple of scenarios that I've come across over my time as an account manager here with a lot of my traders, just for you to understand a little bit better. Now, let's say you want to be withdrawing your profits. All right. And you've deposited with your bank card. How can you do that? So, step 1, you can withdraw to the same bank card only the amount that you've initially deposited with that card within 90 days. So if, for example, you've deposited $50 within 90 days and you want to be withdrawing 100, you can only withdraw $50 back to your bank card. All right. And you need to make sure that your bank card and your IQ Option account is verified. And you can withdraw your profits to an e-wallet account or a local bank transfer. Okay. Just to address a couple of questions, again, at the end of the webinar, you will receive, every one of you will receive a copy of this webinar. So you don't have to ask for it. We're going to send it to you guys anyway. Now, moving on to scenario 2. So let's say that you deposited with a bank card and an e-wallet, and now you want to withdraw profits. What do you do? So again, step 1, withdraw to the same bank card, all right, up to the amount that you've initially deposited with that card within 90 days. Step 2, make sure that your bank card and your IQ Option account is verified. This is very, very important, and you're going to see this in a lot of scenarios. And my recommendation would be, when you first open an account, if you haven't already done this, okay, make sure that you verify your account. Adedayo, welcome. You just joined now. Whatever you missed, you will be able to replay them at the end. We will be sending you, every single one of you, a link to this, a copy of this, so you're going to be able to review whatever you missed. Don't worry. Now, step 3. You can withdraw your profits to the same e-wallet you used to deposit, or you can use a local bank transfer. So if you do not withdraw within 90 days, I have a scenario for that as well. All right. We're going to show it in a couple of minutes. So scenario 3, let's say you deposited with bank card 1 and then you use another card, let's say bank card 2. How can you withdraw your profits? So step 1, withdraw to bank card 1 up to the amount that you've initially deposited with that card with bank card 1 within 90 days. Step 2, withdraw to bank card 2 again up to the amount that you've initially deposited with bank card 2 within 90 days. After that, you need to make sure both of your bank cards are verified and your IQ Option account is verified. And of course, you can withdraw your profits to an e-wallet or use a local bank transfer. Now, withdrawing profits to e-wallets. Let's say that you've deposited within e-wallets. How can you withdraw your profits? Step one, yes, you've guessed it correctly, verify your account. Step two, withdraw to the same e-wallet or use a local bank transfer. Now, let's assume that you've made a deposit with a local bank transfer. How do you withdraw your profits? So again, make sure that your IQ Option account is verified. Step two, you can withdraw to an e-wallet or use the same bank account to withdraw back. So, scenario six, sorry. Let's assume that you've deposited with an e-wallet, but you want to be using another e-wallet. So let's assume that you've deposited with Skrill, and now you want to be withdrawing to Neteller. How do you do that? So, step one, make sure your IQ Option account is verified. Very, very important. Step two, you need to deposit first with the new e-wallet account. So if you want to be now withdrawing to your Neteller account, you need to make a deposit with your Neteller account. All right. After you've done that, you can withdraw to the new e-wallet. So in our case, Neteller. But you need to make sure that your e-wallet account is also verified. E-wallets have their own verification. So make sure that you verify that as well. Now, scenario seven, sorry. So let us assume that you have made a deposit with your bank card. All right. But your bank card is either lost, stolen, or blocked. What do you do? Is your money gone? Can you withdraw your money? What happens? Don't worry, you can still withdraw your money. Here's what you need to do. So you need to go to your bank and provide a document from them saying that you have lost, stolen, or blocked your card. This needs to be an official document by your bank saying this, stating this, and it needs to be officially stamped by them. You then send us this document, all right, and we enable you to withdraw to an e-wallet or use a bank wire to transfer. All right. Now, scenario 8, one of my friends in the comments asked this before, so this is the scenario here. So 90 days have passed since your deposit with your bank card. What happens now? How can I withdraw my money, my profits? Make sure that your IQ Option account is verified. Again, very, very important. And you can simply just use an e-wallet or use a bank transfer. That's it. Now, guys, I also want to address some of the common mistakes and errors that I do see a lot of my traders do. I think this is going to make your life a little bit easier. All right. Now, first of all, when it comes to e-wallets, now this actually applies for Skrill and Neteller only. Now, Skrill and Neteller sometimes ask you whether this is for gambling or non-gambling. If you ever see this option, make sure that you select gambling account. If you select non-gambling, you are not going to be able to make a deposit. Now, the other thing I'm seeing with local bank transfer, always deposit through the application. All right. Always make your local bank transfer through IQ Option. If, for example, you log into your local bank's application and you basically try to make a deposit through there, the deposit is not going to be successful. Now, when you're using a bank card, the bank card needs to be issued in the same country as your IQ Option account. So if, for example, you live in India. Your account is registered in India. And you try to make a deposit with a card from South Africa. You are not going to be able to do that. So the country that you selected, you need to have the same card in the same country. So if you're going to be depositing from Nigeria, your card needs to be registered in Nigeria. All right. If you use from another country, you're just not going to be able to deposit. Now, one other small detail I want to point out, I've had this from a lot of people. Make sure that your cards have international transactions enabled. I have a lot of traders that had to have this enabled by their banks. So if for whatever reason you're not able to perform international transactions, you are not going to be able to make a deposit. So get in touch with your bank and ask them to enable international transactions for your card. Now, common mistakes when you are trying to make a withdrawal. Now, make sure that your e-wallet account is verified. Now, I've mentioned this a lot of times before, but it is very, very important. Make sure that e-wallets are verified, your IQ Option account is verified, your bank cards are verified. All of this is for your own security. So it is very, very important, and it is going to save you a lot of hassle in the future. Now, when it comes to withdrawing back to your local bank, the bank account needs to be the same one that you used to make your deposit. Again, for security reasons, you need to have the same bank account that you've deposited to withdraw. Now, again, make sure that your IQ Option account is verified. And finally, one detail I want to point out, when you're entering your name, make sure that is without spaces. So let's take the example of my name. My name is Stavros Iakovidis. All right. So when I'm entering this to make a withdrawal, there's not going to be any spaces. So it's going to be one whole thing with no spaces. All right. So name and surname together with no spaces. All right. Now, when it comes to bank cards, for bank cards, you can only withdraw to the same bank card that you've used to deposit. All right. Your bank card needs to be verified. And of course, your IQ Option account, once again, needs to be verified. This is, again, very, very important. Now, we're going to be talking about commissions when it comes to depositing and withdrawing. So when it comes to depositing, there are no charges from our side. All right. So when you're making a deposit from our side, you're not going to be charged a single thing. Now, when it comes to withdrawing, if you want to be withdrawing, you have one free withdrawal per calendar month. All right. If you've done your one free withdrawal, then any withdrawals after that, you're going to be charged a maximum of 2% from the amount that you're going to be withdrawing from your trading balance. All right. Let me just repeat that one more time. So if you've already done your one free withdrawal and you're going to be doing your second one, for example, your third one, each time you make your withdrawal, you're going to be charged a 2% from the amount that you're going to be withdrawing, which is going to be deducted from your trading balance. Now, the minimum charge is going to be $1, and the maximum charge is going to be $30. So if, for example, you're going to be withdrawing $50,000, you're not going to be charged 2%. The maximum you're going to be charged is $30. Now, I also want to take the time and actually give you guys a couple of tips, again, when it comes to deposits and withdrawals, which I've come across over time with my traders, just to help you out a little bit more. Now, first of all, make sure that you have a stable and internet connections. I've had a lot of cases where people didn't have the best connection. They've tried to make a deposit or a withdrawal, and it failed because halfway through the deposit or the withdrawal, they had some kind of issue with their connection. All right. Secondly, make sure that your software is up to date. What I mean by software, I mean the IQ Option platform. The reason we have all of these updates, generally updates, is because we constantly, fix things. We constantly improve. We optimize the software. So always make sure that you're running the latest version. Now, when it comes to depositing with a browser, we have extensively tested Google Chrome from a computer. So in terms of browsers, the best browser that we have tested is Google Chrome in the case of deposits or withdrawals. Now, let's assume that you're trying to make a deposit with one of your e-wallets. Now, you need to have enough money in your balance to perform a transaction. All right. If, for example, you want to be depositing with Skrill and you only have $10, all right, you're not going to be able to perform the transaction. So make sure that you have a little bit more. Okay. So moving on. All right. So after that, if you're having issues with depositing, try another device. All right. So if you're, let's say, using a computer and you're having issues, try your Android phone, try your Apple phone, try something different to see if that fixes the issue. Secondly, if you are going to be using a browser and you're having issues, make sure to clear your cache cookies from a browser or simply just change your browser. Now, whatever the case is, if you're having issues, keep in mind that you can always get in touch with support or your account manager, and they can also help you. All right. Now, guys, this is it for the webinar. I do hope that you've gained something from this. I hope that you guys were able to, understand how things work. Now, of course, I will be taking the time to answer some of your questions. All right. So this is the time for our Q&A. Let me just go through the questions to see what is going on here. All right, just a second. And all right, all right, guys. So let me go through your questions here. Oh, there are quite a few questions. All right, so question one here, why can't we withdraw with Bitcoin? So for the time being, Bitcoin is basically not available as a withdrawal method. All right, but we do have many other methods like e-wallets, bank transfers, and so on. This is something that we are going to be adding on our wish list. All right, so currently it isn't, but we are working on trying to get withdrawals for Bitcoin as well. All right. Next question here, Samuel. Can I deposit with bank transfer from Nigeria? So yes, you can deposit and withdraw with a bank transfer from Nigeria. Of course, all banks depend on the availability at that specific time. Let me see here. So another question, I'm from South Africa and I can only withdraw $150. That seems to be kind of strange as our minimum withdrawal policy is just $10. Sorry, let me see here. So $2, sorry, my mistake. So if you're having issues, please get in touch with our support. Again, they run 24 hours. So I'm sure they're going to find a solution for you if that's the case. Let me see here, other questions. So here, next question, I have deposited $100 and the bank is restricting my card from Nigeria. All right, so in this case, please contact your bank and make sure that they enable international transactions for you. This seems like a case where you don't have international transactions enabled. Next question comes from Bello. Why does it take so very long to get withdrawals done, but deposits are very quick? That's a good question. Now, every payment method, whether it's a bank card, whether it's an e-wallet, whether it's a bank, they always have their own durations. All right. Now, we usually process the transactions instantly from our side. All right. But it's not necessarily from our hand to speed up your transaction. All right. So we process it from our side, but again, this also depends on the other side. All right. Another question here is, can I deposit via bank transfer and withdraw through Perfect Money? Good question. Now, it is possible, but for security purposes, you have to make a new deposit with your new e-wallet account, all right, that you're going to be wishing to withdraw in the future. Okay? Now, let me see here, a couple of more questions. So, nice question here. Regarding bank cards, what does it mean you can withdraw what you've deposited within 90 days maximum? All right. So, again, let's say that you make a deposit with your bank card. Let's say you've deposited $50. Okay, so if you, let's say, deposited with a card and you want to be withdrawing to that card, it needs to be done within 90 days, all right? Because this is a reversal from the bank company, all right? After that, if the duration of the 90 days have passed, all right, you will not be able to use that card to make a withdrawal. This is just what it means, all right? So you have a specific amount of days that is set by the issuing company, Visa, MasterCard, or Maestro, all right? And it is 90 days for you to be able to withdraw the same amount. Okay, this is what it means. Let me see here, guys. More questions. All right, so how can I withdraw my profits to my bank card? So bank cards don't allow transactions profits, as I said, mentioned just previously, more than the amount that you deposited. All right, but you don't have to worry because there are plenty of other methods that you can use to be able to withdraw your profits, as of course we mentioned in this webinar. Nicholas, good questions. How are bank cards verified? So you can simply get in touch with support and they can help you with that. It's very, very simple. Let me see here. All right, so another nice question. If I deposit $200 via bank card and I want to withdraw 1,000 profit, would the bank wire be the best method? So Andrew, here, it does depend on what you prefer. Some traders prefer e-wallets, others prefer bank transfers. So anyone works equally best. So it's up to you. Let me just answer a couple of more questions, and I think we will be done very soon. So what is the maximum I can withdraw in a month per deposit? So there is no limit as, let me just see here. So, all right, so there is no limit as to how many times you want to withdraw per month, all right? And the limits do depend, of course, on the payment method that you're going to be using. Another nice question here. Fato, can I withdraw amount less than my deposit? Of course. You can, for example, deposit $1,000, and if you wish to withdraw just 50, yeah, that's no problem. Let me see any other questions that I haven't addressed. All right, a couple of more. How many days does the withdrawal take from Skrill account to the bank? So in this case, every e-wallet company is going to have different durations. What I would suggest is get in touch with the e-wallet provider, and they will tell you the different time frames. All right. So, guys, I think this is it for today. I think I've answered most questions. Now, keep in mind that we are going to be sending this to every single one of you, so don't worry even if you miss something out. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for joining. I hope you enjoyed this. More webinars are going to come. And of course, if you need anything, please feel free to get in touch with our support.